I'm Mayor Clifton Peoples Jr., and today we have a very interesting show. This Our Town show will highlight the one-seat ride service on the Raritan Valley Line. I'm here with the Honorable Colleen Mahr, Mayor of Fanwood Borough, to discuss the problem that has persisted, given very little consideration for the past 15 years. The problem of one-seat ride service into New York Penn Station is very important to those of us in the Northeast Corridor. It should not be ignored. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
There are some people that are listening to this broadcast who haven't a clue as to what one-seat ride is. Could you explain to our viewers what one-seat ride is?
Sure. One-seat ride is the very simple term that commuters use to be able to commute in from New Jersey into Manhattan without changing trains. That means they have one seat, they don't get off that seat, and they go from New Jersey into New York. And one-seat ride is what the Raritan Valley Line does not offer any of our commuters.
What are some of the roadblocks that are preventing the one-seat ride from happening?
Well, I think that before we get right into that, the Raritan Valley Line has been seeking one-seat ride, meaning that they don't have to change in Newark. And if you're a commuter, the stress of coming into Newark Penn Station, rushing off that train, getting downstairs, going up onto another platform, both going to work and coming home, really adds a lot of stress and time to their day. We know that there's an ability to offer one-seat ride on the Raritan Valley Line, and it's something that the Raritan Valley Rail Coalition has been seeking, which I am a part of.
So actually the roadblock would actually be the switching of trains.
Sure. The Raritan Valley Rail Coalition, which represents all towns through 4 counties that the rail runs on, was formed back in 1998 under the late Congressman Bob Franks. And that was to have a bipartisan group that would support the idea of this one-seat ride and other improvements that were along the Raritan Valley Line. So this is not a new conversation, but with the death of the Arc Tunnel, which is that additional tunnel, when Governor Christie killed that improvement, the idea of being able to seek one-seat ride, we thought maybe went away. But with the recent introduction of the ability to have dual locomotive trains run on our line, we've now refocused our energies.
Speaking of dual locomotives, I understand that a different type locomotive has to be assigned to the Raritan Valley Line. Could you talk a little bit about exactly what the dual locomotive is?
Sure, because the ability to get that type of train onto our line is what will unlock the benefit of getting a one-seat ride into Manhattan for all the commuters. And right now, currently, there are diesel trains that run on our line. But when you get into New York, you have to be able to switch and get electrified to get into the tunnel. We don't currently have any of those trains that operate, that are able to run on diesel in like a flick of a switch, turn to electric, and come into Manhattan. When the Arc Tunnel was being planned, there was a purchase of dual locomotive trains. And recently, New Jersey Transit bought additional trains. So as we sit here today, the Raritan Valley Rail Coalition understands that there's about 35 or 36 trains, dual locomotive trains, that have yet to be deployed. On the other lines, there's a total of 5 lines that run into Manhattan. We're just one of them. So currently we are lobbying New Jersey Transit before any decisions are made as to where to deploy those brand new dual locomotive trains that we believe we should get our fair share, which is on peak hour ridership of one-seat ride.
Good. Now we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation about this dual locomotive and possibly the cost factor that's involved in it.
Sure.
Stay tuned.
Thanks.
Time to wake up. I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Don't forget, you've got a job to do today.
Hey, Mom. I got the job. Thanks.
I've got the job. Welcome aboard.
good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're 25.
What did that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again. Did you hit sign? You're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
I'm here with the Honorable Colleen Mahr of the Fanwood Borough. And when we left for the break, we were talking about the dual power locomotives.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about the, I guess there's a cost factor in how much New Jersey Transit had invested in in these locomotives, and
Sure.
whether or not we're getting our fair share?
Sure. As we understand it, the purchase of these dual locomotives, which we believe are about 35 or 36 of the dual locomotives, have a price tag of over $300 million that New Jersey Transit invested in. So our concern is that before they are deployed, that we are able to really sit down with New Jersey Transit after this major investment and make sure that we work collaboratively together to give us what we know our residents and our commuters in our towns all along the line deserve, because there's so many benefits that go along with having one-seat ride.
We haven't, we've been here talking, and we haven't really discussed the coalition that spearheaded
Sure.
this project or movement.
Sure.
Could you talk a little bit about the coalition?
Sure. It's a wonderful coalition that, like I said, is made up of individuals from all along the Raritan Valley Line that goes in from Union County to Somerset County to little part of Middlesex and Hunterdon County. So it crosses 4 counties. And there is a board that is appointed, and it is a bipartisan board that has worked, like I said earlier, in the memory now of Congressman Franks, to make sure the Raritan Valley Line has all the benefits that it should and that the upgrades are made. This last piece of getting one-seat ride would really be the Congressman's legacy, because that's why he started this. And right now, because this is so important, I have been meeting with mayors up and down the Raritan Valley Line, making sure that they understand why they need to get involved with this movement. And we've also met with members of the Chambers of Commerce in various counties, as well as the public officials and the commuters. I have to say that one of the most significant components to making sure we get what we believe we deserve is to engage the commuters who would benefit from this directly, as well as the residents in each town. So this one-seat ride campaign along the Raritan Valley Line has really taken a really nice turn, and it's been very inclusive of many different groups.
You touched on the benefits.
Sure.
Could you elaborate a little bit
Sure.
more on the benefits and let our viewers
Sure.
have a little bit more insight as to what that's all about?
Sure, and the benefits are real. So when we start to talk about what we can get from having one-seat ride, all we have to look to is back in 1996 when the Morris and Essex lines introduced one-seat rides. And what we know right off the bat, it shortens a commuter's time anywhere from a minimum of 15 minutes to probably well over a half an hour. We know that it will increase residential housing values probably by 30%. And that has been backed up with studies, again, that other lines have it, and then most recently with the ARC tunnel studies. It increases property tax collected by the towns, which results in more revenue to provide services to residents here in Union and residents all along the line. Towns with one-seat ride to Manhattan are considered to be more desired by people to live in, and it encourages more redevelopment, and it encourages development of additional housing units, retail stores, and other various services to play off of this great benefit. It's also shown that towns that have one-seat ride have fewer vacancies. They have a more diverse and economically viable selection of restaurants and stores and offices in downtowns, because one-seat ride attracts people who want to live and commute from activity centers. So we know that there's tangible benefits here, which is why now is the time for the mayors along the line, our representatives that represent us down in Trenton, as well as the commuters and the residents, sort of come together and speak with one voice to make sure that New Jersey Transit doesn't leave, basically 10% of their ridership. The Raritan Valley Line makes up 10% of their overall ridership.
Could you talk a little bit about the peak hour
Sure.
problem?
Well, yeah, exactly. Recently, in probably the late summer, New Jersey Transit made an announcement that they would be testing as a test case, a pilot program of off-peak one-seat ride along the Raritan Valley Line. And while us that have been involved with the coalition think that that's a step in the right direction, the real goal is to make sure that we have peak hour one-seat ride. And peak hour is in the morning and in the afternoon, where you have the peak of your ridership, which is actually going to work or going to school, going to places of employment, and then coming home. So while we acknowledge that they are looking at starting something in the spring of 2014, which we consider a very limited basis, that would be at night or on the weekends, we will make sure that the conversation gets moved to what we believe the commuters and the residents deserve, which is we don't want to change trains in Newark.
This is something that is very beneficial to a lot of the people along the line.
Yes.
I can't, for whatever reason, understand why New Jersey Transit is giving the coalition such a difficult time, when in fact, and as you mentioned, we represent 10% of the ridership.
Yeah, well, I think it comes down to there are only so many slots that go into Manhattan on peak hours.
Okay.
And so there has to be some scheduling. And we are one of 5 lines that currently operate under transit that goes into the tunnels. But our problem is, and I think this puts us on very solid ground to what we want, is the Raritan Valley Line is the only rail line in central Jersey connected by tracks that run into Manhattan, but that our passengers have to transfer in Newark. So that to me is a really unacceptable statement to be made, which is why the coalition has been formed as really an outgrowth of now so many people who really think that this is no longer acceptable.
I'm quite sure that with your efforts that I'm looking at now, and maybe moving in the right direction, maybe now we can get some forward motion on this, and maybe New Jersey Transit at some point will start listening to us.
I agree. I agree with you, Mayor. I think that when mayors come together, and communities come together, and we can find a common cause or an issue, which is what this does. This transcends geographic lines, this transcends political affiliations. This is about, economic growth. This is about really economic opportunities, and really getting our fair share of something that we don't enjoy. And so from that has really become a lot of interest.
Is it important then that we, contact our Chamber of Commerce and all the players that, that all the stakeholders
Sure.
that are involved, with the line?
There is a campaign that has begun, and there is a website and there is a Facebook page, and I know this show will be putting up that information about where residents and commuters who are watching this program from home, they can actually go on the Raritan Valley Rail Line website and get all the information. And up there will be letters, and they have to just put in what town they're in, and there will be names of who the letters should be sent to, and they can send them electronically. And we're also asking them to put a hard copy in the mail. There are things that they can do to get involved themselves, and it also just gives them a place to go to get factual information about why the Raritan Valley Line deserves to have one-seat ride.
And I guess me as a politician and the mayor of the township, how can I assist? Do I have to put out some kind of resolution or anything, or is something like that, or letter writing, or?
I think that, you know, when mayors get involved in an issue that they believe very strongly and that could benefit their community, there's many things that a mayor can do. And I would encourage you here in Union to do some outreach to your commuters. Go to your train station. Go there during peak hours. I have. Find a couple of the commuters that really are passionate about this and ask them to join you in making sure that New Jersey Transit pays attention to us, you know, and go to the website. You know, the idea of having the website and the Facebook page and the Twitter page is to basically push people into locations that they can go to get the right information, and then there is an action that can be taken. So I think that talking about it publicly, engaging your local chambers of commerce, talking to your commuters, and even to the residents, because this, like we said, has a direct impact on the value of every single home here in Union Township.
All of those people who want to support this effort, what means of communication was already discussed by the mayor. There's a website available to the residents. So I would encourage you all to find that website and engage yourself in this process. I've been talking with the Honorable Colleen Mahr, Mayor of Fanwood Borough, about the importance of the one-seat ride service on the Raritan Valley Line. Hope all become a more informed populace and are moved into action. I'm Mayor Cliff Peoples Jr., continuing on my journey on the path of progress.